Andorians today can be found in every station and office across the United Federation of Planets. They are honored Starfleet captains and officers, diplomats, merchants, industrialists, and scientists. So ubiquitous among the Federation are the Andorians that it is difficult to imagine a time when they were not citizens of an interstellar union of nation-states, but of an empire. An Andorian empire that once sought to conquer those its descendants now call allies and friends. The Andorians originated on an eponymous icy moon, orbiting the ringed gas giant of Andor. They evolved in the subterranean caverns that riddled the world, growing adept at sensing odors and vibrations through their characteristic twin antenna. The species diverged at some point, with the blind but telepathic Anar inhabiting the northern wastes of the moon, and falling into Andorian myth and legend. Expansionist and possessing a martial culture, the Andorians worked to explore and conquer their moon, utilizing primitive ice cutters to broaden the frontiers of their various nation-states. By the advent of warp drives and interstellar travel, a unified Andorian empire had formed and begun to claim several nearby star systems. They established first contact with the Vulcan High Command during this initial period of expansion, and while a mutually beneficial relationship seemed possible, it quickly devolved into a prolonged rivalry and military buildup that would dominate the affairs of both civilizations. A similar relationship later developed with the Tellarites, who, like the Vulcans, were distrustful of Andorian militarism. By the mid-22nd century, a series of brushfire conflicts sparked by border disputes and covert maneuvering had brought the Andorian Empire and Vulcan High Command to the brink of war. Despite their nominal status as a Vulcan puppet state, United Earth, and by extension humanity, earned a great deal of respect from the Empire after a Starfleet vessel helped expose an illegal Vulcan monitoring station on the border world of P'Jem. The incident marked Andorian human relations and cemented United Earth as an impartial and honorable power in the minds of the Empire's leadership. The Andorian Empire would later assist Starfleet in its war against the Xindi, helping to prevent the wide-scale destruction of life on Earth. Acting on the not entirely unfounded belief that the Andorians were seeking to use Xindi technology in their struggle against Vulcan, the High Command launched a preemptive strike against Andoria in 2154. Despite an initial success luring the majority of the Andorian fleet away from their homeworld, Starfleet again intervened. The justification for the invasion was disproven, culminating in an Andorian victory and the dissolution of the Vulcan High Command. The Vulcan Reformation eased centuries of tensions and created a period of détente with the Andorian Empire. This new relationship was marked by the Babel Crisis, in which starships from United Earth, Vulcan, Talar, and the Andorian Empire entered into an unprecedented joint task force. Their efforts exposed the attempted manipulation of outside powers and laid the groundwork for a coalition of planets, an international union uniting the governments of its member states. Support for the coalition of planets was galvanized in 2156 at the outbreak of the Earth-Romulan War. Though Earth vessels would go on to do the majority of the fighting, the Andorian Empire provided vital support before openly joining the conflict and contributing to the humiliating Romulan defeat at the Battle of Cheron in 2160. The victory would lead to the triumphant Allies founding the United Federation of Planets 1 year later. The Andorian Empire was disbanded, and its naval forces incorporated into the newly established Starfleet Command. Prior to its dissolution, the Andorian Empire exerted sovereign authority over several star systems surrounding their home world. Highly territorial, few ships were allowed to transit through Andorian space without an escort. Most colonies, however, were comparatively rudimentary settlements, with the majority of the Empire's industrial and economic strength located on the Andorian moon. The Empire's government was headed by a chancellor, whose power was balanced by the Andorian Imperial Council. The Imperial Guard was the primary armed force of the Empire, consisting of an interstellar fleet and planetary forces. These forces developed a fierce reputation, known across the quadrant for their lack of non-lethal weaponry. Andorian battlecruisers were the principal element of the Empire's military power and deployed regularly across its territory. In addition to its role in the protection of Andorian interests, the Imperial Guard also formed the center of many cultural traditions and was a core aspect of their society. Andorian culture, which persists largely unchanged in the modern Federation, had a fierce martial tradition built upon a code of honor. Ritual combat was common, regulated by a vast body of rules and practices. Military service was held in the highest regard, with those killed in action transported back to Andoria, in whole or in part, for a ceremonial burial amongst the ice floes. The greatest Andorian heroes were additionally honored by having samples of their blood added to the Wall of Heroes on Andoria. Suspicious, volatile, and deeply emotional to the point of violence, it is remarkable that such a civilization has so successfully integrated into the United Federation of Planets. Yet, as a founding member, it cannot be denied that the Federation, and in particular Starfleet, is built as much on Andorian values as any other member. Andorian determination, passion, ambition, and honor can be found across the whole of the Federation, the last and highest gift of an empire to the alliance that replaced it.
Attention Institute personnel. We're currently en route to the icy moon of Chicago to conduct a field investigation into the aptly named Star Trek Mission Chicago. We'll be documenting our entire trip on our social media, along with our ongoing mission to explore strange new deep dish. So if you'd like to follow along, you'll find the appropriate links in the description. And if not, well, we'll see you in a couple weeks.